Hello beautiful souls and welcome back. Today I wanted to do an in-depth video about how I tarot journal. Now there is no right or wrong way to create a tarot journal. This is just my method. This is what works for me. This is what I do in the current moment. And I'm going to flip through some of these pages. You're going to see that there isn't even a set way I do them page to page. But I'm going to walk through some of the supplies that I use and just what I generally do. And hopefully I can inspire you to start your own tarot journal. If you do tarot journal, I would love it if you could tag me on Instagram. Let's get a hashtag going. I don't know what it's going to be. What could it be? Let's just do Amethyst Moon Tarot Journal. I'm going to start posting my tarot journals under that hashtag, and if you want me to see your creations, put your creations under that hashtag as well. So I'll put that on the screen here. AM Tarot Journals. And let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need is a notebook. This is a dot grid notebook. So it's almost blank, but there are some lines or some dots that will help keep you in line. This is in Essentials, I believe Essentials is the brand. I just got this one off of Amazon and I think it was around $10, so super affordable. Now, the one thing I will say about this journal is it does have a lot of pages really densely packed in there, and as you can see, the way that I tarot journal is kind of an art journal, junk journal kind of style. So I have created a lot of bulk with my pages. So I probably won't get through this entire journal without it like splaying open like this and not being able to close, which is totally okay with me. I don't care if the spine gets beaten up. It's a part of the process. But if that's something that bugs you, you might want to look into something like a 3-ring binder or something that you can add to and then start fresh once you've filled it as full as you want it to be. Or even doing them on individual pages and then binding it yourself. That would be an option as well. But, or even like a spiral bound might do a little better with this style. But again, I don't care that it's doing this. I think it's beautiful. So, a journal. Another thing that is very vital to me while I'm doing this is my tea. I always have tea because I find it calming. I have a nice calming chamomile tea here today. What kind of tea do you like to drink? Or are you a coffee person, or a juice, or a pop, soda? Let me know down in the comments below. So, journal. That is the most important thing. And in fact, some could argue and suggest that besides this and some kind of writing utensil, that is all you need. Now, I do like to do kind of an art journal style. So I have a pile of stuff beside me that I want to show you. First off is my watercolor kit. This is an Aquafine watercolor kit. It's actually like a travel watercolor kit. And there's all the colors that are in it. You can see it's well loved, well used. This I got at Michael's. I think it was around $40 normally, but I used a 40% off coupon. This is a high quality watercolor set. You don't have to invest in such a high quality one, but I wanted to up my game versus just the Artist Loft palette that I had been using for years. Nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to try something different. These are definitely more pigmented and easier to control than a less expensive set. You can also get them with fewer colors and then just get a palette and mix your own colors. So I like to use watercolor. You can also use pencil crayons, markers. I would love to get a nice set of alcohol markers like Copic markers and try that, but I haven't done that yet. But perhaps as we move further along, I'll treat myself to that. The next thing you are going to need is some writing utensils. You don't need knitting needles, but I just keep them in here. So in here I've got a Sharpie, I've got a whole set of these fine liners, and they range in size from 0.05. Is that going to focus? Probably not. They range in size from 0.05 to 0.8. And these I just got off of Amazon. I just have a basic pen as well. So these are the Uni-Pen fine liners. They're kind of like the Micron pens. They were just a lot cheaper. I have a glue stick. I prefer the glue stick over liquid glue just because it dries quicker. You could use any different colors. I like to stick to black just because I don't want a huge collection of pens, so that's what I've got. In here I have a whole collection of stickers that I have collected over the years. So we've got, you know, some grayscale ones. We've got some foliage. There's mushrooms in here. There's some more stark contrast black ones. There's astrological gold ones. There are creepy skull flowers, regular flowers. And then there's ones with different textures. So these are more of like a glossy sticker, a vinyl sticker perhaps is what they're called. There's just a whole bunch of stickers in here. Sometimes when you go into a craft store like Michael's, probably even Joann's or Hobby Lobby, I don't have those because I'm in Canada, but I assume they're very similar. They have like those little bins near the checkout that have stuff that's on sale, and I find you can find packs of really nice stickers there for like $1 sometimes. So I just collect stickers as I see them, and hopefully they'll be applicable one day to something I want to use them for. And I just keep them in this box that I got from the dollar store and labeled it Journal Stuff. So I have stickers. Leave that till last. And then I have a whole assortment of scrapbook paper. Again, this is something I get at Michael's when it is on sale. So we have a whole bunch. Where are they? Or I use the coupons if there's one that I really, really want. I don't have enough space on this desk. Oh, of course, it's right on the bottom. So here we have a Halloween one, which is really my color palette and aesthetic. And this I got after Halloween. It was, I think, $5, and they're normally around $15, I want to say. So you can get some good deals after seasons. So I have, you know, Halloween ones. I have moon-themed constellation. I've got this kind of boho, I guess it's called Dream Chaser. So I just have a collection that, you know, kind of covers all the different aesthetics and colors I might want to use. And then in this bag, this is actually a part of the bag that I got from Petite Petitions, which I talked about in my manifestation journal video. The bag actually comes with 3 of these and you can loop them on. But since I'm not going anywhere because we're in lockdown, I have no use for a fancy purse. So instead, I have put all of my fake tarot and oracle cards in here, and this is where I store them. So I'm gonna pick, this is the fake Earth Magic. It was the first one that came out, so we're gonna use that today. But you're gonna need either you're going to need either fake tarot cards or real tarot cards. I glue my fake tarot cards in. I wouldn't glue my real cards in, but I glue my fake ones in. You could also take a picture. If you just had your real cards and you didn't want to glue them in, you could take a picture of it and then print it out. You can also find printouts of the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery on a bunch of different websites. So you could, just Google it. You could find some of those to print out. There's also a lot of creators on Etsy that offer tarot card sticker sheets, and some of them are indie designers and they've designed their own tarot decks and they sell the sticker sheets. So that could be something you want to look into if you want an alternative to these. Now, I bought these fake cards not knowing they were fake, and now I just use them for arts and crafts because I don't want them to go to waste, but I do have the real version of this deck. So what I do now, so usually I would pull a card before I decide how I want to set up my journal. Now, because I'm doing this video and I want to walk you through the process, I have already decided that I am not doing watercolor in this journal, just because that takes me hours. One of the 5 to 10 minute sped up videos is actually hours in real time, and that's not including the drying time. I am not very proficient with watercolor painting, and so it typically takes me an hour, perhaps more, to do all the blending and everything that I like in the background of my pages. Before we get started, I'm actually going to show you some of the pages that I have created to give you an example of what we are actually working to create today. So my tarot journal, this is kind of my introduction page. It says there, I'm sorry if there's banging outside. The roof is being redone and I thought they would be done at 6:30 at night, but apparently not. We are expecting rain in the forecast over the next 2 days, so I think they're trying to get as much done as possible. But anyways, here's my cover card, my cover page, and it just says, "There is magic in the stars." And I just thought it was so pretty, and I just kind of wanted something to start off the journal. So here is a mixture of watercolor, scrapbook paper, and stickers with the tarot card. There is writing here. This page is a little bit older, so it has faded slightly. This again is all of the medium. So there's watercolor over here with scrapbook papers. This is all scrapbook paper with a few stickers. Mostly watercolor with a few stickers. Scrapbook paper and stickers. Scrapbook. And you can see this one, I didn't even cover the entire page. There is some of the background showing. We've got scrapbook paper, again another mix. This one just has stickers, there's no background. It's not quite minimal, but it's a lot less visually intense than some of the other pages. Some pages I will focus more on one side, allow space for more writing. Again, focus more heavily on the bottom with space to write. This was more focused on the painting. This one is clearly more about writing, so you don't even have to be artistic. You could totally just do this, and you wouldn't even necessarily have to glue in your tarot cards. You could just write what tarot cards you used. And then here's another page with an affirmation card. And this page, I don't know if you can really tell, but this one was about healing. And so underneath all of the flowers are actually words of insecurity that I want to work through. So there's a lot of layers within this piece. So here we are on the next page. And I'm just going to put that there to hold it open. So the first thing I would do is I would kind of set my intention for what I wanted to create or what I wanted to focus on. This journal focuses a lot on shadow work for me. It combines shadow work with journaling and art therapy all into one. And that's kind of the overall theme of this journal. So I would kind of have that in mind as I was shuffling the cards. And I always work with jumpers. Some people will shuffle a certain amount of time and then pick the top card. I work with jumpers. That's how I set up. That's how I set up my pick-a-card readings. It's how I do my weekly readings, my personal readings with clients. I just really like the energy that jumper cards give me. And there we go. Now, because I am doing this in a more tutorial style, I'm actually just going to pick one, and I'm going to go with the whale for this reading, or for this journal entry. I like to thank my cards, put them away, and have them out of the way just so that it is easier for me to work. Especially this isn't, normally if I'm doing this and I'm not filming, I will spread out on my dining room table and just make a complete and utter mess and take up the whole space. So we have the card whale. You know what? I'm changing my mind. I know I just said I was going to do that, but this card is calling out to be watercolor. And I'm not doing watercolor today because, again, it would just take too long. So we're going to go back to the lightning. That card, because of the whale and the water, like, it just screams that it needs a nice, glorious watercolor background. So I'm going to go back to the lightning, to the power card, which still has water in it. Very water heavy energy. So now I would sit and I would think, again, this is what takes me so long while doing these videos. What I cut out, what you don't see, is I will sit and I will meditate and I will really ponder about this card and what it means to me. Again, we're doing a tutorial, so I'm doing this very basic. But for me, lightning, it's power, it's strength. It is the unknown. There is uncertainty within lightning. So this could also harness insecurity and overcoming insecurity. It could be harnessing your own personal strength, going with the flow and trusting your intuition when you feel that spark, that desire to do something. So I think that's the kind of energy that we're going to go with for this page. In terms of color, I like to play off the card a lot, but this one, I could go a couple of ways. I could go dark, I could go a night sky, I could go with a lot of blues, but honestly, the color of the lightning bolt is really drawing me, so I think I'm going to go with yellows and golds and oranges and kind of fiery colors for the background. So I'm going to look first at this Dream Chasers one, just because I know a lot of, see, like right there, that page right there, like how beautiful is that? And then you get the contrast of the blue against that orange. But I think I really want to do a layered look today, so I'm going to need a few more. So we'll just flip through. This is also interesting. I'm going to take this page because of this line right here. It says be brave, and then it says be kind, but then it says be adventurous, be yourself, be amazing. I think I'm going to take the words be brave, be amazing, and probably be adventurous, because, I mean, does that not kind of encompass lightning? Lightning is brave, it's adventurous, it's amazing. So we're going to take those. Let's see. Like even like this is just a different pattern of the same color scheme. So now we're into purples, which isn't exactly what I want. Okay, I think that's all from this sheet. And I like to pull out all sorts of different ones. I can always put them back, but at this point I will grab multiple things. I don't think I probably want anything Halloween-y. I mean, the colors with the oranges are kind of applicable, but I don't want cobwebs, or I love this paper with the raven skull. Gold, beautiful. Just not the vibe that I want for this page. Let's see, this one doesn't even have its cover anymore, but this is all cool tones, so that's not what I want. This one looks like it's all cool toned as well. This is the Access to the Galaxy. Yeah, that's not what I want either. Oops, I just dropped a whole bunch of pieces. And I think I just kicked the camera. So I like to keep all these little cutouts because I could use them for another project. Like even these stripes might, the colors work, but I don't think the stripes work. So we're not going to keep that one. We don't need any moths. Oh, here's the cover for that one. So let's see. Ooh, that map could be interesting. Let's see, we've got some, I might even keep just a few constellations just because we're dealing with the night sky. Might keep that map as well. So again, these are just things that I've cut out. Don't throw out these. They're good. You can use them in another project. All of these I just keep in my desk downstairs. So this has a few oranges, it has a few golds, but it's mostly muted tones. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use that one. That was the pumpkin vines. And then this one is Vintage Treasures. And besides that map that I already have, I don't think that's pretty cool. I mean, it's music notes, so it doesn't really fit, but it's still pretty cool. So, yeah, I think we're going to work with these. The one thing that I should have gotten but didn't get, and it's usually in my pen bin, but it's not, is a pair of scissors. That would be very helpful, but I also like to just rip paper. Nothing wrong with ripping paper. So I'm going to take just a quick gander through some of these stickers. The floral ones are not going to work, but down in the bottom here I have some kind of celestial gold ones. Like that might work. That, maybe, no. What else do we have down here? A maple leaf, that's not going to work. I mean, that's my dog snoring, if you can hear that. Even in here there's things, like these aren't actually stickers, these are things that I've cut out. And this is like a little, it's just a piece of cardstock, but you can glue it in. It's not a sticker, you can glue it in. Like this is, I don't know what that's from, but it's something, but it's just a piece of paper. Let's see. That could be neat, so I'll keep that out. But this is literally what I do. I literally just look through and see what kind of sparks my interest. Some of these black ones. That Medusa. That's very interesting, but I don't think it'll work. But the colors is not wrong. But I can always come back and see if I want to add any of these, if I need something more afterwards. Stay spooky. Okay. Yeah, we'll come back if we need any of those. I think, oh, a flower wanted to pop out. It just really wants to be used today, but it is not applicable to this page. Okay, we'll put these aside. And now we have, I'm actually going to get my little easel out, put my card up there so I can see our inspiration as we're working on this page. So these will be a top layer. So what we want to do first is kind of figure out how we want to layer all of these paper or paintings or coloring or whatever you want to do. So I like the idea of this, and I really like it when it's ripped. So I think I'm going to rip some more. And I like to just, you know, freeform it wherever it wants to go. There we go. Like, that is an interesting shape, and we are just going to go with it. This I really should have scissors for, but I don't have any scissors up here, so, you know, we're just going to fold it, and we're gonna see how it goes, because this is art, this is creativity, this is, you know, just allowing things to happen as they will. And perhaps if I had scissors, it would have a completely different vibe, and it might not be the vibe that I want. So I'm assuming I forgot scissors for a reason. So we're just gonna fold this and rip it, because that's how we work around here. So, but again, if this is driving you crazy, if you're just like, oh my god, just go get some scissors, then you know what, when you're doing your journal, you get scissors. This is my creative outlet, and I'm hoping that I can inspire you to work on your own creative outlet, whatever it might be, whether it's tarot journaling, whether it's poetry. Like, you could write some kick-ass poetry in one of these books, you know, poetry based on the card that you pulled. And that would be awesome. You know what? I'm really glad that I ripped this, because look at this cool edge that it's creating. So sometimes good things happen when you're willing to experiment. Be yourself. I don't want that one for today, but I will save that. Okay. I wanted the Be Brave. That's the one that drew my attention. Because sometimes you have to be brave in the storm. And then I also like, so something like this, I don't really like the reds that much because the card is more orange. And do I like the yellows? I think I really want like a section that's like right here in the middle. And I also like how this is ripped here, because there's texture on this. Like, this is very soft. It's actually like in between the two sides. So I love the texture and that is soft. So what I want to do, I kind of also really like this thing that's going on here. So I kind of want to start above that. And just again, see where it takes me. This I'm going to just put over here because I might use it. And then I kind of want like a big piece that'll go maybe across the bottom. So rip it like that. Okay, there is a kid screaming outside. I do not believe they're in distress. I believe they're playing, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. So I'm just going to kind of put that in there because that's where I kind of see it going. And I love the shape of this, so I kind of want to like somehow, I might need to rip this a little bit be able to stick it through. And then kind of, there we go. I like that. So kind of weaves in and out and kind of mimics the shape that this card has. And I'll probably put that card kind of maybe right in there, something like that. And now I also have this mat, but I don't think I'm going to use it because I actually like the simplicity of this. And then I'm going to put the words over here. I like that. Would I use these? I might put these like underneath, put that there, and maybe have this kind of underneath with, there's this green moon on it, which I'm not necessarily wanting, but if I put it like that, I think that's a good plan. So let's start doing that, and let's deconstruct this. So the top layer is going to be the card, and then these. And then these are kind of stuck together. So we're going to start with these, with the bottommost layer. So if you were doing watercolor or pencil crayon or any kind of medium directly onto the paper, you'd probably want to start with that. Another thing you don't get to see me do is struggle with stickers when I'm filming. So I want to stick this right up in this corner. And these stickers are nice because they actually have kind of a semi-transparent background on them. So, like you can see, where did I use one? Like, so this has like a white background around it, right? But then, where's a good example of it? So this, on dark paper, you can see the white background. But when you look at it on one of the lighter ones, you can barely see the background around the sticker. So it's quite nice on this cream colored off-white paper. If you were using craft paper, they'd probably show up a little bit more, but that's another option. You could use craft paper, like that brown paper that is like often sent like in packaging to protect things. You could use that for your journal and then bind your own book. Or you can even, there's like Archer and Olive, I think it is, does a craft paper journal. Okay, so I don't remember how I had this positioned because this was here, so it was kind of like that. Okay, because I wanted to hide that moon, but I wanted those gold stars. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm going to put glue onto this. Make sure you get all those edges so that it really sticks down well. And I'm going to glue this whole section, even though I know I'm going to lift this part up to put the blue under it. So I think something like that. And then we'll glue the blue one. And this kind of tucked in under here. Like, I don't want it to stick out the top. Okay, so now one thing that I do, and I highly suggest you do, is I will just take one of my pens or a marker or something, kind of stick that into the crease, press everything down, and then the page is ripping when I do this, and I'm not that concerned. I want the page to be able to open and fold. And then I will just close it and give it a good press to make sure that that edge there is creased and it's not going to do anything funny. And I'm just going to press down on this, and then that's clearly higher than I had it before, but that's okay. I don't want to cover this. Oh well, that'll be fine. It'll be good. Again, go with the flow. Embrace the energy. Kind of want it there. I'm going to stick my words on. And I like to change angles that things are at. So, you know, some things are this way, some are this way. So, you know, there's visual interest with how all of these are being played. There's interest in the textures. There's interest in the colors. Okay, so let's see. So again, we've got the interest of this gold. Okay, I apologize. My camera battery died, and so I don't know exactly where it left off, but hopefully I got everything glued down in that shot. But here we have the current state of this page. So we've got all sorts of texture, all sorts of contrast, color, but there's still lots of negative space, and it's actually quite light in terms of what I would normally do. So, but I really like this page so far. I love just this hint of gold poking out, kind of mirrors the color within the lightning. And I also really like the texture, like there's the texture on the edges where the page is ripped, and then just the texture of the layers themselves. So now what I would do is I would take my pen, and you could journal in all of this negative space. You could do whatever you want here. I like to go on Pinterest and find an applicable quote sometimes. Now, I actually thought I was recording going through a couple different quotes, but I don't think that was recording. So I ultimately stumbled upon this quote, which is from Inspired by Elle, and the quote is from L. Smith. It says, "Be the lightning bolt in the room, the person with the explosive energy which touches everyone." And I feel like that really summarizes kind of what I was going for, especially with this be brave, be amazing, be adventurous. So that's what I'm going to use as inspiration to start writing on this page. And I'm going to take my 0.8 fine tip and write the first part of that quote. And you can write it however you want to. You can write it in a straight line, you can write it sideways, you can do whatever. I think I'm going to write it along here. So we are writing, be the lightning bolt in the room. Okay. And I'm going to use bold letters because lightning bolts are bold, right? They're strong, they're confident. So be the lightning bolt. And I kind of like that, but I want to change it up a little bit. So we've got be the lightning bolt, and I'm going to go into cursive to write in the room. Okay. And then I'm going to switch to my 0.2, and it says the next part is the person with the explosive energy which touches everyone. So I'm actually going to write it down this way. So I'm going to write the person with the, and then I'm going to, oh, it says person with explosive energy, not the explosive energy, but that's okay. So we're going to write explosive energy. Which touches, then I'm going to go back to cursive, everyone. And now I do like to remember where my quotes come from, but I don't like it doesn't necessarily stand out, so I'm just going to go with my smallest one and just write L. Smith. Okay. So I think that is a great general layout. Now I do have some other space in here, and I have some space here, some space in here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the time to think more about this card, meditate a little bit more on this card, and write in these spaces. Doing something like this will take me a little bit longer, so I'm just going to pause you guys and you will come back in a matter of seconds, but it will probably be about 30 minutes, 40 minutes for me, and I'll show you the finished piece. So I did a little bit more on this page. Here I wrote, "Weather can change in an instant. Clear skies can unleash a bolt of lightning when you least expect it. Don't suppress your inner power. Let those bolts of electricity out. Embrace your explosive energy, your true power." And then I also found this. This is another quote that I saw when I just scrolled a little bit further. It didn't have a person who wrote it, so I'm going to have to look into it a little bit more. But it said, "Not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear the path." I just thought that was beautiful. So there we go. That's this tarot journaling page. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it is a lot longer than most of my tarot journaling videos. It's not quite as meditative and soothing as the ones that I try and put up, but I really wanted to share how I do this, and I really hope it inspires you to create some tarot journals of your own, or some art journals. It doesn't have to be tarot, it could be whatever. A picture that you took or that you found in a magazine, anything can spark your interest, can allow you to tap into your intuition. I happen to use tarot cards, but anything that draws your interest could be used to do a art journal or junk journal in the same way. So again, if you try out tarot journaling or art journaling and you want to share with me, again, we're going to use the hashtag #AMTarotJournal. I can't wait to see what you create. Love, light, and happiness to all of you. Have a fantastic day. Bye.